Welcome! So this is just a brief intro video for the stuff that's specific to the 2024 presentation of the course Software Design and Modelling. I'm Perdita Stevens, I'm the course organiser for this course, and I hope to meet you in person at the discussion session on Friday. So how does this course run? Well, for the main lecture material we have videos online because I've decided that giving lectures is a rather inefficient way to use our in-person sessions. It's much more useful to use our in-person sessions for practice and discussion and generally more interactive stuff than straightforward lecturing. So we have an in-person practice and discussion session every week, and this year that's on Fridays at 10 AM until 10:50 in the 40 George Square Lower Teaching Hub. We also have in-person labs starting in week 2. So those run from 10 until 12 on Tuesdays. They are in person in AT 606 and we use mostly online tools. And basically what happens is I will be there at least to begin with. Depending on what we're doing and how many people are there, I might not stay for the whole 2 hours, but that is another opportunity for us to have some interaction and discussion and for us to see one another in person. There are also a lot of readings in this course, and there are, in addition to the lecture videos, some videos that are relating to skills and some deeper background on the material. The majority of these are compulsory, they form part of the examinable material of the course, and some of them are optional, and those will be clearly marked on the website where you find the links to them. We use Piazza for questions and occasionally for announcements, so joining Piazza is something you really should do if you're going to follow this course. Please go ahead and do that if you haven't already. How do we assess this course? This is something that clearly matters to a lot of people, including when they're deciding which courses to take, and I do understand that actually. We have 50% exam and we have 50% lab assessment. The lab assessment is kind of like a midterm exam in a way. It takes place in the slot that's allocated to the week 6 lab, so that's the Tuesday 27th of February 10 until 12. That's immediately after the flexible learning week that precedes it. So you must attend, you must be available in that specific slot. I put some facts on the web page about what happens if you have clashes. I hope there aren't too many clashes this year, but generally speaking, apart from that lab assessment, it will work probably kind of okay. If you have a clash with the lab, you'll be able to do the labs in your own time elsewhere, provided that you're proactive enough to go off to Piazza and ask if you get stuck on anything. Missing the discussion session would be more problematic. If you can't make the discussion session, I would recommend you to think twice about taking this course. Okay, back to the lab assessment. The reason we have it is basically because it examines the sort of straightforward using UML and using UML tools stuff, which we teach in the first half of this course and then rely heavily on in the second half of the course, where we go on and talk about some more advanced model-driven development stuff. And so the reason why we have this assessment halfway through is largely to make sure that people don't put off learning that stuff until later in the course. I want to be confident, and I want you to be confident, that everybody's got a solid grounding in that material before we go on. Okay, so it definitely doesn't aim to be scary. The idea is that if you've kept up with the course up to that point, you should be able very much to take that lab assessment in your stride, but it ensures that you're ready for the second part of the course. 50% written exam. The format of the exam is the same as it has been for the past few years, so if you look at past papers you'll get a very good idea of it. We have a compulsory question 1, which is short answers and covers the whole of the syllabus, so the aim of that is to make sure that people can't be too selective in what they revise. If you do well and if you end up with a good mark in this course, I want you to be confident that you've got a pretty good coverage of the whole material of it. And then there's a choice of 2 long questions. You do one of the 2. Which goes into more depth in some aspect of the course. And that's about all I want to say that's specific to this presentation. I've got a new monitor since the last time I made any videos, and it's not quite working the way I intended it to, so I hope this will be tolerable. I'm hoping not to completely remake too many of the videos that I made previously, but in most cases to get away with annotating them where I have to update them. which will mean that my monitor problems won't matter too much. But the next one, the intro one, I do have to remake. So I apologise if it's not formatting exactly as we would like. Hopefully I'll manage to solve that problem, but I haven't managed to solve it today as I try to make this video.